That forget America, white America is an irredeemably racist country, and that the only course for the Negroes is to bring about a final, violent, apocalyptic confrontation of black and white.
In Washington State, education officials are considering letting students go back to school on the basis of their race. Non-white kids would get to go back first, while white students would be ordered to stay home until the virus subsides. Now, you may have thought that plans like that were eliminated with the Brown versus Board of Education decision 65 years ago. But no, it's all coming back.
The oppressor class has shown their hand. They're just very blatant and open with it, with their plans for black people in America. But it seems like we just don't get the picture, even when they tell us right out of their mouth what they're about to do to us.
All summer school students must be tested for COVID-19 in the next 2 days in order for classes to continue.
That comes amid the lawsuit against the district filed by the group Any Means Necessary. Paula Tutman, following what have been major developments here, Paula, 630 students need to be tested and not much time to get that done.
And this is a heavy lift. I don't know if you remember, but my partner, Justin DePreckle, and I had to get tested yesterday. We were in Detroit. We got that 10-minute quick test. But even if you think about 10 to 15 minutes per student times 600 plus students in the next 2 days, this is a lot. And it really could affect in-person learning in the fall as well. The protests of teachers and parents who are also members of the activist group BAM, or By Any Means Necessary, have been a thorn in the side of the district. For 6 days, they've attempted to stop buses from picking up children bound for in-person summer school in Detroit.
The Detroit Public Schools are at the center of what is essentially a national test to get people used to the idea of schools opening, to see what happens if schools open with this pandemic raging. And that's just unacceptable. We don't know what the long-term effects are of COVID-19.
So I am just angry at the fact that we're having to stand for this.
But today that thorn became a knife cut and a real potential threat to the ability for Detroit Public Schools Community District to open in-person learning come August 31st. As a temporary restraining order hearing in front of Senior District Judge Arthur Tarnow turned into what could be near mission impossible for the district.
The judge ordered that every student be tested to see if they have the virus within the next 2 days. I think we're going to get a clear picture of what is taking place. I think we're going to know where and how and much the virus is in the summer school program.
And while there are few more than 600 students in in-person summer school, the judge indicated that this will likely go beyond just summer school. When band leader Shanta Driver brought it up that teachers must have recent negative COVID tests in order to even enter the school, but not students.
We think that it's really a significant victory, and we think it is a victory for, first and foremost, the students of Detroit, their families, the teachers, the school workers, because this is going to say exactly what's happening at that summer school.
Now, of course, we'll all remember that Dr. Viti has been very steadfast in saying he wants parents in Detroit to have choices. About 50% say they want to send their kids back for in-person learning. About 50% say they want remote learning. You've got to keep these kids under the tent in order to get any kind of funding at all. They've got to keep these numbers up. I've been checking my phone, still waiting for a response from the superintendent's office. I hear one is forthcoming. I have not gotten it yet, but do understand that this is serious, and it has serious ramifications, particularly because school is supposed to start August 31st, Devin and Kimberly.
Paula, I was talking with somebody yesterday from Northern Michigan University. They intend to test every student as they arrive at school. And that was my thought was, okay, that's one plan, but multiply that times school after school after school. This is a monumental logistical lift.
Absolutely. And what does that matrix look like as well? Do you test every day? Do you test every week? Do you test every month? How do you collect that data? But also keep in mind that one of the things that the board attorney brought up was, hey, there are other school districts, Novi, Inkster. They've got in-person learning. They're not getting protests. And the judge said, what do you want to do? You want to add them to the docket? No answer.
We knew what a complicated situation this was, and it's only gotten more so as we get closer and closer. All right, Paula. Now, as
that they have, that they're waiting. So they're just waiting. And remember, the oppressor class system, it prepares, and it always, prepares in advance. So I've always had that always bothered me when I've seen how much manpower and money that was used to convert the TCF center to a COVID-19 hospital when we have several hospitals right here in Detroit. I mean, like they stack next to each other. The DMC, the VA, Henry Ford. I mean, they all so it's not like we don't have hospitals here. And so it's like, I'm trying to figure out why was there such a large military presence here, and why would they convert a arena or a center into a makeshift hospital? We have several hospitals here in Detroit.
There's a story a lot of people are talking about out of Pontiac, Michigan. Now, this young girl was sent to jail for not doing her homework during the time of COVID-19. Now, there's a lot of kids that's been struggling with this online classes. Trust me, you want to deal with a 5-year-old with online classes, it was not easy, trust me, at all. But like I said, we got through it. And some kids, they need that, in-person instruction. But as of right now, we can't do that because, this particular government and the president we have utterly failed to handle the coronavirus. So now we're still dealing with the crap, right? When it's something we should have been over with by now. But the young girl, her name is Grace and the mom name is Sharice. So when she didn't do her homework, she was already on probation. The judge said she was going to hold her to the letter of the order. And when she didn't do her homework, she was behind. She ended up sending her to jail for not doing her homework. Talking about she violated her probation. It's not against the law to not do homework. It's not against the law at all. She didn't steal, she didn't fight, she didn't do anything, but this judge sent her to jail. Even when the governor has said to not be sending children to jail, especially during the time period of coronavirus, unless they really did something, she didn't care anything about that. So the judge in this case is named Mary Ellen Brennan. She's the presiding judge of Oakland County Family Court Division, okay? So she sent that young girl to jail. Now, how the young girl got into some issues, they were saying that the mom, Sharice and Grace, they was always close with each other all the way up until the time she became a teenager. And she started having some issues and problems like being on the phone too much, social media, not doing her homework. The same thing that a lot of parents is dealing with. Trust me, teenagers at this stage of the game is definitely not easy. It's much harder. We raised 2 teenage, girls into women. And I will say this much, dealing with teenage girls is so much harder than dealing with teenage boys. I know what I'm telling you. It just, at least in my experience, because it's like when they little girls, oh, they're so easy. Oh, they're so great. But then when they get to that age and the friends and the influence. So, the mom and, the young girl, Grace, was having a lot of issues and problems with each other. But unfortunately, they made a mistake as I read through everything. The mistake is calling the police. You should not call the police in family business. Anytime you call the police in your family business, it escalates. Every time you're saying that, I can't handle my business in my house, so I got to get these folks involved. And as they kept calling the police about different issues, they were physical at times, different things that happened. And, also outside of the physical part that happened with the mom, she had stole the phone from a boy at school. Okay, the girl's having some problems. Father not in the life whatsoever, because that's definitely was said. And when she was caught, she felt bad about it. She immediately returned the phone, but the parents still wanted to press charges. I wouldn't have done that personally. If I would have got the phone back, I would have just said, hey, young lady, you really need to, get your life straight. You know what I mean? Because these folks out here, I would probably just want to talk to her just more so as a father figure to tell her that that's not the way to be, at least. But I would want to put a child in jail behind something you gave me back, okay? But so they put charges on her for that, for theft. So she had theft and assault. So that's how she ended up getting on probation. But she wasn't doing anything outside of that. She didn't break any laws. She didn't do anything that was just bad to violate the probation order. It was just the homework. Now, this is the kind of people that we have as judges in America over our children. And I said a long time ago, these people don't deserve to be judging us like that, because look at all the things they've done to us for hundreds of years. They can't accurately and fairly judge us, because you look at the way they treat their children versus how they treat our children. That's why I don't believe they can judge us right. It's too much racism. Racism permeates everything. And even if they say they're not racist, they still have a bias against black people and black children. I want to see how many white children is she locked up for not doing their homework during the coronavirus. I'd like to see that. Because I guarantee you, this little girl will probably be one of the ones that she locked up, or maybe some other black child. It just really pisses me off, big time. It pisses me off. And you can also have even a black judge at times target our own people. So I want to make sure to put that out there for some of y'all say, hey, Phil, I had a black judge and they treated me worse than some of these folks. So I know that can happen as well. But this, situation makes no sense. Now, there is a judicial review happening right now with this particular case to see, if this judge did any wrongdoing and possibly get this child out. But anybody with common sense would say, get this child out of juvenile. Come on now. That child didn't do anything. And this child been away from her mom for a whole month. A whole month. This is sick. It is utterly sick. So we're sending kids to jail for homework. This is what we're doing. That's why a lot of black folks say, you know what, I'm so sick and tired of this place. And they take their talents to an African nation, some of them. Not all of you can do that. Not all of you want to, and that's fine. Some of you would deal with this forever. But I just hate the system. I hate the system because this system is so against us. I mean, we fight. We take to the streets. We do this, we do that. And these people still don't get it. Like I said, these people, out here hate black people. And I base it off of the actions. Because they don't treat their kids like that whatsoever. They don't. It's like can I just mess up a black child's life today? What could I do to hurt and harm this child? But when their children come in there, he's a kid. He's 21 years old, 25. He's a kid. I mean, I don't want to ruin his life by putting these charges on him. That's what happens with them. 30 years old. She's a kid. But our children, 14, 15, he's a man. She's a woman. This case is sick. But let's see what's going to happen with this particular story. I mean, this young girl needs to get out. This girl having problems. Jail don't solve problems like that. Her father's not around. They say she has ADHD. There's a lot of issues that she probably dealing with. Like a lot of teenagers in America. Hell, some kids aren't doing well during the pandemic as well. You ever thought about that? But you got to have compassion to actually look at black children as human beings.
Crackers stole everything from you here in Detroit. They stole your retirement, your severance packages, stole your houses, mortgages, predatory loans, illegal taxation on your homes. Now they come for your kids. They stole your livelihood. Now they coming for the future. So what you gonna do, Detroit? What you really gonna do?
But you see, the real problem with violence is that we have never been violent. We have been too nonviolent.
There's no such thing as a nonviolent revolution. The only kind of revolution that's nonviolent is the Negro revolution. The only revolution based on loving your enemy is the Negro revolution. That's no revolution. A revolution is bloody. Revolution is hostile. Revolution knows no compromise. Revolution overturns and destroys everything that gets in its way. And you sitting around here like a knot on the wall saying I'm going to love these folks no matter how much they hate me.
You call us savages and beasts and mad dogs running the street burning and looting, but we're doing this not for the destruction of the world, but we're trying to prove one point. We want freedom and justice and equality. We want to be treated equal. The best thing to do is give us freedom or at this place a riot with blood.
Here in Detroit, a city of war.